Welcome to The Growth Spurt, a weekly AI podcast by the Second Baptist Church of Ann Arbor.
Glad to be here.
Today we're diving into a sermon that really resonated with me. Dr. Stephen J. Daniels, Sr.'s Dancing in the Land of My Grief.
Oh, powerful message.
Yeah, and it got me thinking, about how Dr. Daniels uses the story of Joseph. Specifically, the moment when he names his sons in Genesis 41. To explore this idea of finding joy even when things are hard.
Right. And we all know Joseph's story. It's full of betrayal, hardship, but ultimately, triumph.
Yeah, and so much triumph in the end.
Yes.
So what I thought was so interesting is that Dr. Daniels focuses on this particular moment, the naming of Ephraim, to kind of highlight that tension between past suffering and present blessings.
Yeah. Like when he says, God has made me fruitful in the land of my grief, he's not saying that, all that bad stuff didn't happen. He's acknowledging it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the part that just really struck me. It's like, how often do we try to just bury those past hurts? Once we achieve a certain level of success, it's almost like we think that acknowledging the struggle diminishes the victory.
Yeah, like it cheapens it somehow,
Right.
We can't truly be happy now if we talk about how hard it was to get here.
And I think Dr. Daniels is challenging that idea head on.
Absolutely. He's basically saying that, winning now, it doesn't erase the pain of yesterday. We can have all the success in the world, experience blessings, but still carry that weight.
Like baggage,
Yeah.
Unpack those bags.
Yeah, and that's the key takeaway, I think. Acknowledging both the grief and the blessings. That's how we get to real healing, to real joy.
That is so well said. It's like you can be standing in this field,
Yeah.
right? Like it's beautiful, the sun is shining, but you can still feel that chill, of a past storm.
Right. You can be so thankful for where you are, be grateful for it,
Absolutely.
but still feel those scars, the scars of how you got there.
And Dr. Daniels goes on to lay out these 3 key points that can help us dance in the land of our grief.
I love that he uses the word dance.
Me too.
It's so perfect.
It is.
Because it's not about ignoring the grief, right?
Yeah.
It's about finding a way to move through it, to find some rhythm, even joy in the middle of it all.
Yeah, like even when the music is maybe a little somber,
Yeah.
the steps might be a little heavy, but we're still choosing to move.
That's it. You keep moving. You keep trusting. That's the dance.
So these 3 points, God's faithfulness,
Yes.
God's strength, to propels us forward,
Yeah.
and then God's ability to make us fruitful, even in the midst of all the tough stuff.
And, I always think back to Lot's wife.
Oh, yeah.
The one who looked back at Sodom and turned into a pillar of salt.
What a powerful image.
Right. It's like dwelling on the past, on what we've lost. It can keep us from those blessings God has waiting for us.
It's like we can't be so focused on what's behind us that we miss what's right there in front of us.
That's it. It takes faith to move forward,
Yes.
even when you can't see the whole path.
And that's where I think Dr. Daniels starts to talk about toil.
Right.
It's like it's the hard work, the effort, even in those super successful lives.
Yeah, and we often just see that final result, the highlight reel.
The pretty parts, right?
Yeah, but we don't see, the sweat, the tears, all the stuff that went into getting there.
And he specifically points out in the King James Version,
Yeah.
of the Bible, the word toil,
Yeah.
when it describes Joseph's journey.
It's a powerful word, toil.
And he dives into the definition, hard work over a long period of time. He's really emphasizing that. Even Joseph, who we know is blessed, was favored by God. He didn't just get a free pass. He still had to put in the work, face the tough times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder for all of us that, we shouldn't compare, our behind the scenes, the messy parts to someone else's, curated social media.
When it's not real life. Right.
No, not at all. We all have our own toil.
Yes.
Our own unseen battles, our own path, and that's okay.
And that's so important for us to remember because, especially today.
Oh, especially today.
Where we are just constantly bombarded with all of these images of perfection, It's easy to feel like we don't measure up.
Yeah. And, comparison really is the thief of joy.
It really is.
It is. The key is to focus on our own journey, trust in God's plan for us, and understand that, toil is a part of that plan.
So instead of viewing it as a burden, this is a big shift for me.
Right.
It's like we can see that hard work as a stepping stone to something bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. It's part of our growth. It shapes us. It strengthens us.
It refines us.
It does. It refines us. And Dr. Daniels suggests that, when we remember that toil, remember the challenges, it can actually help us appreciate the good stuff even more.
Oh, wow.
It's like you think back to climbing a mountain. That journey was hard.
Hard.
But, that view from the top.
So worth it.
Worth it.
So it's about acknowledging both, right?
Yeah.
The struggles and the triumphs.
The whole picture.
Yeah. And that they both make our lives what they are,
They do. They make them meaningful. They make them beautiful, and God can use those tough times, to get us ready for even more blessings.
Yeah. What we go through, the hard work, it shapes us, it strengthens us.
Yeah.
And it ultimately gets us where we need to be.
That's right. That's right. It's all part of the journey.
It's all part of the dance. Like no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Dr. Daniels doesn't stop there. He reminds us that, God is there with us even in the muck of it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about, gritting your teeth and just pushing through it all.
Yeah.
Dr. Daniels makes it clear that, God gives us strength. Especially when we feel like we can't handle it all.
And that, that really spoke to me because, there have been times where I've felt so stuck, like drowning in all of that toil. But he reminds us that we don't have to do it alone.
We don't. We absolutely don't.
We don't have to rely on just our own strength. And he uses Joseph as an example again.
Yeah.
Pointing out how easy it would have been for him to just be bitter,
right,
to be resentful after his brothers betrayed him.
Oh, absolutely.
After he was unjustly imprisoned. It would have been so understandable for him to just give up, to let those circumstances define him,
right,
but he didn't.
He rose above it.
He did.
Yeah.
And this is where that idea of dancing comes back in, right? Even when it's hard, even when the steps are heavy,
even when the music is maybe a little bit sad, melancholy, but we choose to keep moving. That's the thing.
Yes, keep trusting. That's the dance.
Keep trusting, keep moving.
And so that leads to Dr. Daniel's next point, which is God's ability to make us fruitful.
Yeah.
Even when things are tough. He reminds us that our circumstances, they don't get to dictate our joy.
That's right.
Or peace or our ability to thrive.
Yeah, they don't get to have the final say, And I love how he brings up the naming of Ephraim.
Oh, yeah.
So double blessing. It's like Joseph is making this declaration, even in this hard place, God has blessed me.
Yeah.
Abundantly.
Like abundantly blessed. It's a bold statement of faith.
It is. It is. And, Dr. Daniels challenges us.
Yeah.
To look for those double blessings, even when we're surrounded by, what feels like, hardship, barrenness.
And, that's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
Because I tend to focus on what's wrong, what's missing,
yeah.
What's causing me pain. But Dr. Daniels is calling us to actually shift our focus.
It's about retraining our minds,
Yeah.
To see the good, to appreciate it, to be thankful for it, even those small things.
The little things.
The little things.
But that's a choice, isn't it?
It is. It is a choice. We can choose to focus on what's good, or we can dwell on what's hard.
Every single day.
Every single day. Every single day.
And I think, he also makes it clear that those blessings don't erase the pain.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We can be grateful. We can see the good.
We can acknowledge it all.
But still hurt.
Still hurt.
Still grieve.
And still find that joy.
And that's the thing about joy, It's not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about recognizing God in the midst of it all.
And his faithfulness.
His faithfulness.
Yeah.
Even when things are hard.
It's about choosing to dance. Even when it's shaky.
Oh, I love that image. When the ground is unsteady beneath us.
Yeah.
We're still dancing.
We're still dancing.
And that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's not about pretending that things aren't hard.
Right.
It's about trusting God's goodness and finding those reasons to celebrate even when we don't understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and that's where that image of Lot's wife, it comes back.
Yeah, full circle.
Full circle. It's like when we look back, when we dwell on what we've lost, what could have been, it can really stop us in our tracks.
Paralyze us.
Yeah, paralyze us.
He talks about, getting stuck in the valley.
Yeah.
And that low point. where fear and doubt just take over.
Yeah, yeah, and he even quotes from Luke, where Jesus says, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God."
It's a strong statement.
It is. It is.
But I think what Dr. Daniels is saying is that our focus, it needs to be on what's ahead, on the work God has called us to do. And if we keep looking back,
Yeah.
we're going to miss what's right there.
That's right. We're going to miss the blessings that are right in front of us. And sometimes moving forward, it means letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go of things that are holding us back, even things that, we think are important.
Or feel safe or comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. Yeah, he brings up that story about the man who wanted to follow Jesus, but first he had to go back and bury his father.
Yes.
And Jesus says, let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God.
It's a tough one, but
it is. It is.
But I think Dr. Daniels' point is that sometimes our commitment to God, it requires us to let go, even of things that are, really important to us.
Yeah.
Because nothing comes before that relationship.
That's right. That's right.
And he reminds us that Joseph could have clung to that pain, to that anger towards his brothers, but he chose to focus on those blessings.
He chose to focus on the future. Yeah. And that's such a powerful illustration of how, when we hold on to the past, it can keep us from the good stuff God has for us.
It's like a call to let go of what's weighing us down, to let go of the pain, the resentment.
Yeah, to trust God as we move forward.
And isn't that where the dancing comes in?
Yeah. It's not about ignoring the hard stuff.
Right.
It's about finding a way to move through it with grace, with joy even. It's about choosing to trust him, even when we don't get it.
And that's a message for all of us.
It is. It is. No matter what we're going through.
No matter what that land of grief looks like for us.
Exactly.
Whether it's, loss or a setback at work or health challenges, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We have a choice.
We do.
We can choose to dance.
We can choose to acknowledge the pain, but also embrace the good stuff and just keep moving forward with faith.
With hope.
Yeah.
Dr. Daniels' sermon, it reminds us that our circumstances, they don't get to define us.
No, they don't.
Our past doesn't have to control our future.
And our joy doesn't depend on everything being perfect.
Thank goodness for that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this question from Dr. Daniels. What's your land of grief right now? And how can you choose to dance, to find that joy, that fruitfulness, even there?
It's a good question. It really is. It's a challenge, a good challenge.
It is.
Because, even when things are tough, God's grace is enough. His love is always there.
It's steadfast.
It is. And he wants us to experience joy. That's his desire for us.
Go in peace, be blessed, and may the joy of Jesus be yours. We'll see you next week.